Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Is your cold making it hard for you to get to sleep and leading to a bad morning? Switch to Mucinex Night Shift for fast, powerful nighttime multi-symptom cold and flu relief. Mucinex Night Shift fights your worst nighttime symptoms to help you get to sleep and wake up ready to go. Mucinex Night Shift. It's comeback season. Use as directed.
The reality is, guys prefer naturals. And if it's natural body wash you're looking for, Dr. Squatch has got you Natural Kings covered. The ingredients, naturals. Scent options, naturals. Around-the-clock moisturization, naturally. Now available in-store and online at drsquatch.com. Dr. Squatch Body Wash, for men who prefer natural.
Hey. Welcome to But Am I Wrong?
You know what? We're not this week wrong.
No. A show where we talk about current events. We talk about things that we may be wrong in our lives or rants. And then you guys can write into butamiwrongpod at gmail.com. Keep it to 300 words about situations in your life that you may be wrong in. Include your fake names. Include your pronouns if you would like, and definitely include ages. And then our last segment is But Are They Wrong? We'll get more into all that when we get to each segment.
Yeah, what a time for this podcast to exist.
I know.
My cup runneth over with options.
There were options, but as also things I just did not want to talk about right now.
Yeah, and then other things that feel like, well, I don't want to talk about that, but then also I don't want to do something that's like so trivial that like it was weighing that. So, I'll explain. So our first But Am I Wrong is where we position or propose. Props, it's a triggering word. We pitch something that is either happening in our own life that we want to know if we're in the wrong about, or a hot take, a lukewarm take, or a rant.
Yeah.
And one of the best parts about this podcast is, God, it's a triggering word. You get to VOTE.
You get to participate by clicking on
a little poll.
Not that one either. By clicking a selection that you feel most aligned with.
Yeah. It's like a quiz.
Yeah. Little quiz.
And then we read that and what happened and the aftermath on our Fisting Friday episode.
Nope.
And
on See You Next Tuesday.
Sorry, you're right. On See You Next Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday where results come out.
Fuck, Melissa.
Yep.
Yeah, you might have noticed that those stories didn't go up in the timely manner that they normally do. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So
and that's fine. So we will record on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine, wouldn't even say it was a rant, maybe a hot take. And mine is, that there's 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I'm splitting my time. I'm at the top one. I'm in denial, but I would also like to add 2 more D's to that. Denial, delusion, and detached. And that's where I'm residing right now.
Girl, we are together on that island.
And I'm fine with that. And I think it's perfectly fine for anybody for right now to be in that moment. I mentioned on Fisting Friday that I deleted my Instagram temporarily because I didn't want to see people posting things. I also was not liking the flood of messages I was getting in mine. It was nothing like negative. It was just a lot of people sending me these like hopeful messages that I don't want to see right now.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate, I want to give a shout out to Nicole and Moises. They're always sending me stuff on TikTok and they're just staying consistent. We haven't discussed anything. They're just sending me the same
I see
type
you,
of
we see
videos.
each other.
Uh-huh.
And here's some hee-hee-ha-has.
Yeah, but congratulations to Nicole. I believe she has, in Tulsa, they got their first Black mayor.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yes, so congratulations there. We have
Big
some
win for
positive
Oklahoma.
news. But they still are a red state. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I deleted my Instagram. I am going to be partying. That's not something I've done in years. Tonight I'm going to a party.
Ooh, take your top
I
off.
sent a text message to my friend that is a international paid DJ, you know, like
Yes.
an actual DJ. I sent him a message and I said, I would like to shake my ass this weekend. Please tell me where you are DJing. He said, totally understand. He talks more about politics than we do. So he was like, totally understand. Here's where I'm going to be. So I will be out. If anybody would like to come shake their ass with me, look up DJ Artistic. I'll be wherever he is. Oh, it's already passed, but who knows? In the coming weeks,
You might still be shaking that
yeah,
ass.
I might still be shaking my ass. I'm not reading or watching the news right now. I'm quickly scrolling past videos on TikTok about what just happened. I'm completely shut out. My friend and I were making like serious but / joking plans about moving to New Zealand. And I want to thank Diana for sending me more information about that. Also, I forgot that Gail lives there. Forget because she didn't have an accent. But Gail also lives there.
And Gail could probably tell us how to move there.
Yeah. And all of that, and I firmly believe all that is fine for right now. Like, live in that for this moment. I need my mental health to be okay right now. I'm okay living in this. But know that I will eventually get over that and I will put all this back into action, get back into action. I will continue to have my foot on people's necks. I probably won't move to New Zealand until my nieces are adults.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll move to Pennsylvania though. That
Melisa,
seems like the move.
I've been looking into it. I know you've deleted your social media, but the first thing I tweeted was, so do I move to Ireland or do I move to Pennsylvania?
Mm-hmm. I saw that Ireland is offering a lot of money for people to move to tiny remote islands.
Yeah.
But maybe I've lived in Pennsylvania before. It's cold.
Yeah.
But like, and you visited a lot as a child.
I got family there.
Yeah. But, you know, I have nieces, I have nephews that I will continue to fight for. My niece that's 10 years old woke up bawling her eyes out when she learned the news because she has been following this election very closely. And, you know, I have to fight for them. But right now I'm going to continue to live in denial and delusion and detachment because there was nothing wrong with Kamala Harris's campaign. There's something wrong with America.
Yeah. Wholeheartedly agree on all of that. And like, it's a self-preservation tactic, you know, like I'm gonna have to deal with it. I don't need to do it right this second. It's not, there's no need for that.
We're kind of okay for the next couple months.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not this month and next month. We're kind of okay.
And, you know, I am about to pull out my fucking tinfoil hat. And like, I'm in the stage of I'm full delusion. Like I'm full delusion. And that is also paired with just anger. Like I'm mad.
Oh, you're moving to the next stage too.
Conspiring. I I'm maintaining that I'm like, none of this is real, but also if it was, you're a fucking dick. Yeah. And so that's where I'm at. And I have seen people being like, you know, be kind to
That's the shit I don't want to see.
Well, no, not that part. It's be kind to the like progressives and liberals that you're seeing express these emotions. Like it's very real and natural. And, you know, we would never get into your comment sections and say, like, fuck your feelings. And I said, well, let's not use we so boldly because I was doing that when we went, I'm being like, and so when people come to me and say, fuck your feelings, I go, fair, valid. I said the same thing to you, dished it right back.
Yeah.
But and when I said it to you, you cried like a little baby. But I just, the part that I'm holding on to is so wild that so many people opted to not vote after raising so much money in such a short time period. But then also, what do you mean every single TikTok astrologer was wrong? And all these TikTok astrologers are like, I'm not comfortable saying that I was wrong. Like, I still think something's happening. And I was like, so whether anything comes from that, but
yeah.
To me, it's feeling like I was obviously very young for that. But it's feeling a little bushy.
Yeah. So I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
And also my period. It was supposed to I was supposed to start my period on Tuesday. And I guess my period was like, I'm not bleeding for this country. Still hasn't come yet. It's also in denial, detached.
Yeah.
And delusional.
It said, you've got too much on your plate. What day is it? What month is it? I don't know.
My skin started breaking out. I had one cramp Wednesday morning.
Yep.
Go figure. Nothing else has come from that.
Hey, time is a flat circle. Everything is an illusion. Okay.
So we're going to take a break. When we get back, Meghan will get into hers.
We are so excited to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Thrive Cosmetics. Now, we are slowly but surely inching our way into fall in Los Angeles. And I mean inching.
So slowly.
So slowly.
Maybe millimetering. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think so, because when I look outside, I go, oh my God, look at all these brown, crispy leaves that have fallen to the ground and they're crunchy and I can prance around in them, except for not too long because it's still 85 degrees out.
Right.
It's that. So I have to find other ways to get excited for fall, like my makeup. And for me, I have been keeping it very simple, especially on my off days when I'm not filming. And even if I am filming, I'm like dialing it back, doing something very simple like mascara and a lip tint, which is exactly what I'm wearing today. And you guys can't see me, but you should know I'm wearing the ad that we're talking about. So thank you, Thrive.
She looks good. And when we got on camera, I was like, what have you been doing today? Because I know we rarely leave our homes.
Yeah, and I didn't leave my home. I just happened to have a little fun at my makeup desk.
And Thrive inspired that. As y'all know, fall. Y'all know that I am a person that's like, we don't talk about fall until it's fall. And now is it officially fall? Then we can talk about it. And I can talk about how much I am looking forward to switching up my summer routine for makeup and moving into more autumn-inspired creations. And Thrive makes that possible.
Thrive Cosmetics beauty products are certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free, made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high-performance and trademarked formulas, and uncompromising standards. And it's easy to see why their best sellers have thousands of 5-star reviews.
We were sent some beautiful shades, including their precision lipstick crayon that we received. The color is called Stephanie. It looks amazing on me. It is like a brownish red color. I'm not a technical person. Thrive they're the professionals. They provide it. I see it. I like it. I wear it. It's fantastic. They also have their liquid lash extension mascara. Not only does it last all day, it doesn't clump. There's no smudging. There's no flaking. You look like you're wearing lash extensions without having to go to the salon and getting them put on.
And it completely comes off so easily with water, which is something that, as someone who has been a till death do us part waterproof mascara kind of girl, usually I have to soak my eyelashes and my eyelids for about 5 minutes every night. And then when I wake up in the morning, I still look like a raccoon. And I'm like, and I got to do it again in the morning. So knowing that I can have that great long lash, voluminous and lengthened look, and then washing it off just as easy with water, it sounds like a dream. And it's got nourishing ingredients that help support longer, stronger, and healthier looking lashes over time. TBT to that time I was curling my lashes on your couch and they got stuck, and then I broke off half my lashes and I was like, oh, we can't actually talk about this. And you're like, it's fine, we'll pretend it never happened.
And I forgot it happened until right now.
I thought it happened again the other day. And that was pre-Thrive. So thank Thrive Cosmetics. Now I'm gonna be set. These lashes are not going anywhere.
Great. I love that. Not only does Thrive provide excellent products, Thrive also donates to 8 major causes, including those impacted by cancer, domestic abuse, and veteran and education organizations.
So brighten up your fall look with Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. And right now you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/blame. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/blame for 20% off your first order.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
A hot take, and feel free to tell me if this is like not my place whatsoever. My fellow white women, wearing a blue bracelet to indicate that you are not a conservative to people and that you are a safe person, to me is the crux of the issue of why we as white women keep voting the way that we do and keep being shocked by that. Because like, I think it's wonderful and great if you want to wear, but I have to say, like, at what point are you having an interaction with someone who needs to know that you are not a conservative without ever speaking to them, getting to know them, nothing like that? It's just to show people, hey, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those ones. And I think like, hey, if you want to do that, what's the bracelet color for I didn't vote for Trump and neither did my husband. I didn't vote for Trump and I don't speak to my family who does. I didn't vote for Trump and I canvassed for Kamala. I didn't vote for Trump and I didn't vote to maintain prison-sanctioned slavery in California. I didn't vote for Trump, and I also voted for more rent control. Like, to me, it's just like, oh, how quick. And I've seen it pop up all over Etsy and everything of being like, the blue bracelets. And I was like, wow, God, we organized so quickly for just a little, like, it just feels so...
This is so off my radar.
Have you not even heard of this?
What you're talking about.
Someone made a video basically being like, and I don't think it's like badly intentioned whatsoever, of being like, I'm so disgusted with like my fellow white women. Like, how can I indicate to specifically Black women, trans individuals, and marginalized communities who are so hurt by this, who have worked so hard to get Kamala elected, how can I signal to them that I'm not one of those white women?
What's hilarious about this is that it's not even hitting the targeted audience. If you're trying to signal to Black women that this is something that I don't know what this is. So it's just circulating amongst white people.
And then being like, oh my gosh, okay, I found this Etsy shop to get this blue bracelet. I'm like, guys, this energy anywhere else.
Hilarious to me.
This energy anywhere else. And also like for the day after the election, the worry of being like, how can people make sure they know that I didn't do this? And it's like, okay. And like, I even had like some thoughts this past week of being like, I'm always really grateful for most of the politics of where I grew up. Like, it's very white, it's very NIMBY, but it's very progressive. Like, it's very liberal, and there are faults that come with that, specifically with like white limousine liberals. There are those faults of that, but like, I don't know conservatives. I don't know Republicans. I don't know. I grew up with one, and I've checked on his LinkedIn. He's not a Republican anymore. And like, I'm not kidding when I say I knew one. I don't know any. I don't know any. I truly don't know a single one. And so when people like make videos being like, I was like, maybe I should move somewhere and like befriend some conservative white women and like, blue pill them. Like, how do I like because like that is like from a position that like I am in the minority of white women who do not have conservative racist family, do not have like friends, do not have like partner, like brother-in-law, sister, like whatever that is, in the bluest bubble you've ever fucking seen. And so I know it's rich coming from me being like, you have people in your life that you could do more for, but it's so backwards to me because like, yeah, there are people like that you see who might say that they didn't vote that way, but like, they're only telling you that after the fact. And also, I have never once been aware, nervous, or scared or embarrassed to have someone think that I'm conservative. That never even crossed my mind that like people would be like, oh. But if someone like sees a profile picture of me and they never see me talk and they're like, oh, a blonde, white, totally. I'm not offended. I'm like, yeah.
You should have your guard up.
Without a doubt. And also like, I'm not like, what can I say or do? And I go, well, the second you talk to me, you'll figure. And like, I'm not worried about that. And like, I even like moving to a new neighborhood, like I was like, oh shit, should we have a yard sign? And Mats was like, well, what do you mean? And he was like, I was like, well, do you think people might think that I'm, and I said to our neighbors, they're like, Meghan, no, at not what point ever did I ever think that about you. And I'm like, if you're so concerned of other people thinking that you voted one way, why is it not abundantly clear? Not in a bracelet. It should be abundantly clear and like like your community, what you talk about, what you value, and also like how you convey that. Like not just like, oh yeah, I have all of these values that I like keep to myself, but like,
yeah, even that. I told you that I was reconnecting with one of my high school friends, and I was like, I don't know where she stands, but I just have a feeling it's not, because when we were in high school, we didn't talk about politics really, and like my friends that I did know that were Republicans, like it wasn't
very different.
It was different. It was a different time, and I was like, I think she's okay. And then she started posting like things in the last week, and I was like, oh, okay. And then she was pissed on Wednesday, and I was like, great, I can actually meet up with you when I come home.
Yeah, like this idea that it's like, how can I signal? And also the part that's like really like, and I don't think it's being thought through well. And I'm like, you're trying to signal exclusively to one group, and that is the problem. It's like, without rocking the boat, how do I only let the people that are marginalized communities, let them know that I'm a safe person without alerting my circle that might not be safe to those concepts and those ideals? How can I do that?
Right.
So I'm
like, why do you
buy
feel
a fucking
like
Harris Walls shirt? Like, what do you mean?
Why do you feel like you need to be approachable? Like, why do I need to come up to you and be like, yes, I want to talk to you about my problems? The fuck? No.
Well, and I'm like,
preach to your community and get them out to vote for your rights. Don't vote against yourself.
And if we haven't had a conversation, I don't care what color bracelet you're wearing, I'm not going to be a safe person for someone at all. Like, what do you, like, it's such an odd, I'm like, what do you think? What do you mean? And like, it's putting like a light on in your window of being like, you can come here if like, what do you mean? Like, in what context is this bracelet doing anything other than making you feel better?
And I could also see white Republican women doing this as a taunt. Like that, like nothing about this makes me feel safe.
And who's selling these little blue bracelets?
Yeah. Fuck like, y'all.
It's just, and it makes me so upset to see how quickly it has like taken off. And like, I'm going to say right now, I look better in red than I do blue. I'm never concerned on election day. I'm not wearing red. I'm not concerned wearing red and have people going like, oh, she's going to be a raging conservative, because I'm not. There's not, we have one conversation, one interaction, whatever that is. You're not going to get that from me. Like there is going to be none of that. And so like, it's just, it feels like the absolute bare minimum to do with the most, like the most like gung ho effort. And I think like, if you really were a safe person, it would reflect in your life, not on like the bracelet you wear.
Yep.
So, and like, again, like, and I've seen like some Black women who've like done things being like, wear the bracelet, but like the numbers don't lie. Like I don't believe you until that shit starts changing. So it feels very empty, and it makes me really, really upset as a white woman when we don't organize, we don't galvanize, and then we do something like this so quickly after. And like, it is truly a part of the problem of why there's such a large percentage of us still voting for Trump, because we're focusing on things like this, which is indicating to the intended audience and being totally oblivious for the people we don't want to rock any votes with. That's the fucking issue.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That was a good rant, and you're not wrong about that. All right. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into your problems.
Woo! I hope you have got good ones.
This episode is brought to you by Etsy.
Oh.
Hear that?
Okay. Thank you.
Etsy knows these aren't the sounds of holiday gifting. Well, not the ones you're hoping for. You want squeals of delight. Happy tears.
How did you?
And spontaneously written songs of joy.
I am so happy. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, the song needs a bit of work, but anyway, to get those reactions, make sure everyone on your list feels heard with handmade, handpicked, and designed gifts from small shops on Etsy. Gifts like personalized jewelry, custom artwork, cozy style items, vintage pieces, and home decor to celebrate all of your favorite people and their specific kind of special. For original gifts that say, I get you, Etsy has it.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Feel your max with Brooks Running and the all-new Ghost Max 2. They're the shoes you deserve, designed to streamline your stride and help protect your body. Treat yourself to feel-good landings on an ultra-high stack of super comfy nitrogen-infused cushion that takes the edge off every step, every day. The Brooks Ghost Max 2. You know, technically, they're a form of self-care. Brooks, let's run there. Head to brooksrunning.com to learn more.
All right, we're back, and now we're going to get into But Are You Wrong? And that's when you guys write in, as I said up top, with your issues, dilemmas, problems that are happening in your life, and you can email us at butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Hey, Meghan and Melissa, longtime listener, first time writing in. I'm actually surprised that I'm even writing right now. No one knows this, so I can't go to anyone else close to me for their opinion. I need to know if I would be wrong for telling my mom my grandpa is... Oh, I'm sorry. I need to know if it would be wrong for me to tell my mom my grandpa isn't her biological father. Let's start at the beginning about how I stumbled upon this information.
Thank you.
My grandma died a few months ago. While we were cleaning out her house, I found all her journals. Grandma journaled all the time.
Grandma!
It was no secret, and she kept them in a bookshelf. Her journals date back to the 1950s. Being the history buff I am, I just had to have them. I cleared it with my mom and her siblings first, of course, and they said I could have them. No one has ever read them. I'm thinking it's because they thought they were journals, but I realized quickly they were diaries. So I started at the beginning and worked my way up. If I had more time, I'd tell you the interesting things I found. Moving along. Yeah, send us a part 2. Moving along. My mom is one of 6 kids in the boomer era. I'm just so baffled by this.
I know, me too.
She's the third born. Apparently, my grandma met a soldier and had a one-night stand which was super scandalous. Then she had sex with my grandpa 1 week later. So for a long time, she didn't know who my mom's father was until she got older. While most of my aunts and uncles look like my grandpa, my mom looks like my grandma. But according to Grandma's diary, she also looks like the soldier no one knew about. My mom and grandpa are extremely close. On top of that, she just lost her mom. Am I wrong for not telling her, or does she deserve to know? Plus, if my grandpa doesn't know, I don't want it to affect him as well. Oh my God, this is so scandalous, as you said. This is your mother's father. Like, your grandpa is your grandpa and also your mother's father. And I guarantee there's a lot of people in that time that are walking around with fathers that aren't their biological fathers, but those are the fathers that raised them. Those are the only fathers they've known. Sometimes they might have been dicks and like, yeah, tell them. But like in this case, I don't think it's not your secret to tell. You were never supposed to know this information to begin with, unless that was part of the plan, that your grandma left these diaries behind for someone to eventually find. But unless there's like some health risk that's going to happen where like you need to know something or you need something donated.
Where was he a soldier?
It didn't say. But I think you take this to the fucking grave. Or maybe you tell your partner if you don't have one, or eventually if you have one. But like, you told us, we know, and we leave it at that.
Yeah. I think that you'd be wrong if you told your mom right now. Like, I think like this is one of those things that like, it has nothing to do with your grandfather. Like, it has nothing to do with her dad, like the dad who raised her. So I think like doing it after he had passed, I think that is much more like appropriate, because like it shouldn't change that relationship there. Mm-hmm. And so then you have the weight on her of like, do I tell him? But also, we also don't even know. Like, yeah, it could be like that that's her dad. But also, this is where, to give you some unsolicited advice, what I think is like, when you find out information, you go, okay, so I found out this information. This other person should know this information, but I can't tell them in the way that I got it, and I shouldn't come from me. So I'm going to set up a circumstance and situation. I'm going to get everybody 23andMe for Christmas. Like, I'm going to do something that is like, no, but like, or suggest that they do this and be like, oh, you should do that. That should be cool. Or like, I was going through and reading like grandma's journals. Do you want to read some of them? And then giving it so she can decide if she wants to pursue, like, she not coming from a word of mouth of like, hey, I read this and I think it might be this. I always think it's much better to like let people take the option to discover something if they would like to on their own. But I also think that like, this is probably not the time.
It's not the time at all.
No, it's not the time whatsoever. And if it's a huge missing puzzle piece, that would make a lot of other things click in your life that it's imperative for like health treatment and that kind of stuff, then I think that's the only time that I would think that that overrides the timing of this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, only if there's something that is more pressing timing wise that it would of this. Cause this to me is also just like Melissa said, like the families are sitting on these secrets for a very long time. Like, this is just one of those things, and it's very, very, very common. And it sounds a lot more outrageous to us now than it might have to them. And so giving someone the opportunity of like, oh yeah, I read some of this stuff. There's like, yeah, very interesting kind of stories, and giving her the opportunity if she decides to be like, but I think if you brought it up now, like that would be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But even like if you do it like after grandpa dies, then like you still have to wait another grieving period for that.
Yeah.
Just wait. Maybe you can do your own DNA, get like some of grandpa's hair, get some of your mom's hair, go do a little data analysis, see what comes back. I don't know, unless you want to stay in the gray area too, where you don't know either.
Yeah, and like sometimes siblings don't look alike.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they don't look alike, and I go, something's up.
And there were siblings where we were like, neither one of them looked like, but then we saw the parents and they each look exactly like the parents. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, one looks exactly like the dad, one looks exactly like the mom. But
And genetics
they
are
look-
wild.
and they
nothing
look,
alike.
And they look nothing alike.
I said
They do
one
not
or
look like
both of you are
siblings.
adopted. And I saw the parents like, I take that back. So I think the father must have carried one and the mother carried the other. It's remarkable how DNA works. But yeah, also if your mom's a redhead, scratch all of that, they're related. Like that is her biological father.
Unless grandma had a type.
No, I just mean like if she looks different because she's a redhead.
Oh, okay.
Because like people think like, oh, there's a one redheaded kid you must have been cheated on. I'm like, no, that's not how
genetics work.
No, also like the more kids you have, suddenly their hair starts getting redder and redder. Like it just starts appearing. Punnett square.
Ooh, that was a good one.
That was a really good one. Thanks for that. We really needed that one.
Yeah.
Okay. My turn. Hello, my favorite duo. Hi. I'm wondering if I'm wrong for texting my ex. We'll see. So I'm 30 and use she, her pronouns. My ex and I were together for 4 years. I thought we would get married and then he ended it about a year ago. He said he didn't see the same future with me that I saw with him. I was honestly glad that he was honest with me rather than stringing me along any longer, but it was a hurt that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. I would have you rethink that. I think we should wish those things on our worst. Through therapy and family and friend support, I'm in a way better place. I had blocked him from all social media for a while. I wasn't wanting to see how his life was going. As I was healing, my therapist had me unblock him so he didn't have that power over me. I unblocked him, but I didn't follow or add him. I stumbled across his Instagram the other day and I saw that he's in a relationship. As any ex would do, I grabbed some wine and stalked his page and hers. I embarrassingly texted him and asked, I hate that I'm embarrassed for you because that's confirming the fact that you're like, so I should be embarrassed. Okay. I embarrassingly texted him and asked, what does she have that I didn't? He apologized and surprisingly told me that he missed me, that their relationship was new and he didn't feel about her how he felt about me, even in the beginning. I told him I missed him and I loved him. When I woke up the next morning, I was so embarrassed. I don't condone a guy texting a girl like that when he's in a relationship. And I'd be furious if I was her and I stumbled across our messages. I'd likely break up with him and I'm so ashamed. I know I was wrong to text him. Was I wrong for spilling my guts to him? I feel like I probably took several steps back in my healing journey. I've already made an appointment with my therapist.
Go ahead. I have thoughts, but go ahead.
Yeah, you did it. So like, it's one of those things like, would I have advised you to do it? No. Would I tell you to not do it? Yeah. Do I think this was a good idea? No. Do I think this was productive? No. But like, you did it. Like, and I think like, I'm kind of a believer in like the same thing that we have with not wanting to say like your feelings are incorrect. Like you're entitled to feel how you feel. But I think for like certain impulse things like this that like you do, you didn't ask for permission. You're begging for forgiveness. And so I'm like, maybe you had to do it. Like maybe you needed to like embarrass yourself a bit to have that like reflection on it. But I also have questions why your therapist is like, unblock him. He doesn't have that power over you.
That is my number one problem.
I think you need a new therapist because like that's insane.
New fucking therapist. That is my problem.
I think it's her fault.
Should not have done this.
No, you're clearly not ready for that.
I am pissed.
Yeah.
Why would your therapist say that? That is my number one issue here. I don't think you're wrong. You were doing what your professional had told you to do, but they were not ready. The therapist is in the wrong here.
Yeah, I would honestly probably get a new therapist after this because like this to me, like I can't even like rack my brain for an instance in which like my therapist would have said this. Like would have been like, yeah, unblock them because like the whole thing, it's like, no, they can't take up brain power if they're blocked because you can't see them. You can't engage with, like, it's literally a removal from that. Like, if I block someone, my therapist would be, like, jumping from the fucking chair, being like, oh, she blocked, because I'm not a blocker. I, like, don't block people. And she would have been thrilled. She would have been so happy and excited that she was like, our goal is just to not look them on the Finsta. But if we got to blocking, that would have been amazing. But your therapist would be like, unblock.
Like, what is that? That
feels like sabotage.
Like, do I think like what you did? Yes, it was wrong, but it was a cause and effect to it. And the cause was your fucking therapist. And they should have never fucking told you to do this.
Yeah. This is just so odd to me. And some therapists are not like great therapists. And also like, it can just be like a difference in personal opinion that like for them being like, I just want to be on like a good page with everybody. Like, I don't want to hold any, like, if you're holding any anger or resentment or animosity to someone, like that's taking up energy. I call bullshit on that. I can dislike someone and like not engage, pretend they do not exist. And it takes up zero space in my mind.
I would like our therapists. I won't say your names because I don't want to call you out, but I need y'all to please write in with your opinions on this. Please.
I know one specifically who will have strong opinions.
Yes. That's mainly who I'm speaking to because I don't really know the other people's names, but I know that we have multiple therapists that listen to this. But the one that I know your name, please write in.
Sansa Stark. Show up. Sophie Turner. Tell us those candid feelings.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think she's happy. It is not wildly uncommon for people who fit into certain psychological types that are quite destructive to, instead of seeking help in that and ways to manage that and cope with that, using this field of that to further their own personal diabolical agendas. It's not uncommon. I thought it was like crazy, and then my therapist was like, "No, babe, that is unfortunately not."
And it's also in some television shows.
Yep.
All right.
I hate
your therapist so much.
Me too.
I'm sorry. And
I
you
need an
probably think
update.
that you're making some breakthroughs with them, and maybe they are helping you in some areas, but I do not like that they did this.
This would be a deal breaker for me.
Me too.
Like, even if they were like, you know what, you're right, I shouldn't have done that. Like, this would still be a deal breaker.
Also, are you gonna like get back with him now?
I know, because like, is that what your therapist like?
I hope that I don't know if we've gotten to you before you go to therapy because you were like calling them right after. So like, let us know what they said to you because now they're like, oh, he still loves you. You should get back together.
And if your therapist is with Kaiser, now is the time.
They're striking.
Now's the time to switch. They're striking. You know?
Yikes.
Please write back.
Please.
I want to know.
We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. From the co-director of Shrek and the visionary behind Toy Story comes Spellbound, a magical new animated adventure starring Rachel Zegler, John Lithgow, Jennifer Lewis, Nathan Lane, and Titus Burgess with Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman. When a powerful spell turns her parents into monsters, Princess Elian must journey into the wild to reverse the curse before it's too late. Watch Spellbound only on Netflix November 22nd.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back for our final segment, and that is But Are They Wrong?, where we nominate a person, place, or thing, something in the pop culture zeitgeist, current events that we think deserves some shitting on.
Mine are quote unquote progressives that did nothing but talk shit about Kamala Harris the whole campaign, or people that also consider themselves progressives and didn't even vote. Do I think we should be critically talking about our politicians? Absolutely. Yes, we should be. But there's also a time, a place, and a way to go about it. You've talked about it numerous times. I also talked to a friend yesterday that's Canadian, and he, can't vote, but he lives here in the US. And he said that so many people that he knows, they didn't vote, but they woke up angry on Wednesday and were complaining to him. And he said, you have no right to say this. Like you literally have no right because you didn't go vote. And now he's like going through his friends and getting rid of people.
That's a Canadian in the US that I respect.
Yeah, me too. I saw Bernie Sanders tweeted out, it should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned them. While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. First of all, Bernie Sanders, you're not a Democrat, even though you participate like you are a Democrat, and you also run against Democrats. Like you put yourself in the running for president under Democrat, even though you don't identify as a Democrat, taking votes away from the people that should be getting votes for. You didn't do it this time, but you have in the past. Also, do you not read any of Joe Biden's policy? Because Joe Biden's whole economic policy for this term has been about the working class people. He has saved union pensions. He saved union jobs. He's backed the working class, and they still turn him down. So what you're specifically talking about are the white working class you meant in 2015, 2016. And like, there's nothing about that makes sense right now. Why are you talking? A friend of mine who I went to college with, she's one of my sorority sisters. She goes by Hope Writes Love Sings on Instagram and Threads, and I think you all should go give her a follow. But she said, I count so far 11 decent size to large platform social chains, thought leaders on my Instagram timeline who only ever criticize Harris on their page for not being progressive enough. These past few months, sharing today, I want to throw up memes and sentiments. The hell did y'all expect? I'm not laying blame on you for this loss, but like, what in the hell did y'all think only criticizing the black woman running against a beloved white man was going to do for her in this country? This is wild. And then someone replied to her and said, folks tried to tell them, but of course they didn't listen. And now they either have to put up or shut up about this revolution they have been screaming for. Then my friend responded, they really sat there quietly while that woman got her ass handed to her daily on these apps over foreign policy that existed long before her time in office and not even officially her doing yet, while barely mentioning any other genocides happening across the globe. And now they have the urge to publicly be like, Orange Man in office again is bad. I'm not surprised by much, but they are who I feel truly disappointed in. At least stand on business, ride that indifference out. So,
yeah, I agree with that. We've talked about that ad nauseum offline that like, and my dad quite literally used to work with Bernie Sanders, like campaigned with him back in the day. Like, so that like, I understand that perspective, but Bernie Sanders told young white men that the worst thing that you could be and the most underprivileged thing that you could be in this entire country, in this entire world is poor. And there is no intersectionality. There is no crossover. It's harder to be a poor woman. It's harder to be a poor black woman, but it's just no class solidarity over everything. And in doing that, you critique a black woman who is so deeply overqualified for this at an entirely different level that you are critiquing a old white man and also the standards of which you hold those people to. Like, that is like the thing that I find so infuriating about it, that it's like, yes, class consciousness, we all need to be on this page together, but to like look at this like, you're going to, in the country of America, in your mind, treat a black woman the same way you would treat a white man and think that that's a good thing. You're not. The standards are exponentially different of which you have. And we also know, because there's a lot of other candidates, specifically women, not Jill Stein motherfuckers, who have almost identical platforms to Bernie Sanders, but with bigger track records, and they don't like him.
Yep.
And the amount of times that the vitriol I've been told from Trump supporters and Bernie bros is not, there is an overlap in that kind of thing. And specifically seeing white men, but like anyone who's white, but seeing that rhetoric there, it's like, this is what we said was going to happen. And I even watch like videos of people who are like, you know, I'm not going to vote. And it's like, well, who do you hope, like, who do you think will win? Like, oh, I think Kamala will win. Of course they don't pronounce it like that. And so do you want her to win? Well, yeah, of course I want her to win. And they're like, well,
fucking go
vote for her. And I think like if you abstained from voting, and I said this before, if you abstained from voting as like a white person in the United States, if you abstained from voting, I should not fucking know that. You should not be on your platform saying that. It shouldn't be like, well, we're having a community conversation with other people who are in blue states. I go, how the fuck do you know? How the fuck do you know that you're not influencing people who are in purple states, who are in red states, where their vote really counts? How the fuck do you know that you're only talking? Like, well, I'm saying I'm just talking to this intended audience.
That's not
how it fucking works.
That's not how hearing
It's not
works.
how it fucking works. It's not how influencing works. You can't do that. You can't just say, I'm just talking about my experience and I'm just talking about what I'm doing. If you're talking about your experience, tell me 6 months later. Tell me after the fact. Tell me when it's not that. Tell me how you feel about it after the fact. Don't tell me, well, this is what I'm planning on doing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what to do. Vote. You should have voted for her. And if you didn't vote for her and you didn't vote at all, I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
It makes me it's so mad because like, yeah, we've talked about this. Like we're very selective. I'm very selective of when I will critique someone. And like, it's just like, it's giving Zoomer energy. Like some people are far too grown up to be doing this. And I'm like, this is giving, I'm an anarchist and I'm like 22 and I've been there. I get that. I totally get that. But like, you cannot be influencing those people in your 30s.
Yep.
You know better than that.
Yep. So angry.
And none of them are real political organizers either. Because political organizers would tell you.
Shut up.
If Angela Davis, if you're not on that side, rethink it all. Rethink all of your resistance. Anyways, okay. So, mine is a nomination to all white women, specifically the influencers, saying that I don't want to bring politics onto this page because this page is about love, light, and happiness. And like, I don't want to weigh it down with icky things like your human rights and civil rights. Like, that's just like so not aesthetic, so not chic. I would rather talk about the Sephora sale. Similarly to yours, then don't say fucking anything. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. But this like digging in deep to be like, oh, I'm going to pander to both sides. And I've talked about this like ad nauseum before. When people do things like this and they refuse to say what their stance is, or they're like, can't we all just like vote and then be quiet and like still love each other afterwards? All that is to me is like, some people will be like, that's so clear you're voting for Trump. I don't necessarily think that it is. All I know is it doesn't matter to me who you voted for, because what you are doing is I need to make sure that the audience I've pandered to, that I've cultivated, the audience that I specifically want, they don't go anywhere. Even if I might do things that don't align with that. So either you are pandering to conservatives and that's the audience you really want, and that's not how you vote. Or you are conservative and you prefer to have an audience of progressives because you find they're more engaged, they're kinder, whatever that fucking is. And you're like, oh, I have intentionally misled you. And I don't want you to know that because it's not an accident. Like, it's just not a fucking accident. And will there people who slip in? Do we like in 2020 have people being like, wait, I thought you were all about love and light. What do you mean? I was like, there's no
way.
It was so few people, but people who like got online being like, oh my God, I lost like 30,000 followers. And I go, and people like, Meghan, you must have lost someone. And I go, no, I did not. There was not, they did not feel safe here. And any of the people who said that they did were lying, just trying to get a rise out. I'm like, I have never been that. I've always been a bitch. I've always been a cunt. I've never been about love and light. I've always said I will bully you to your face and online. Like, I will. So like this idea to me that like, this is the self-righteous and the kinder pathway, because the other part is the only people who respond to that sentiment and go, oh, thank you, are conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only people who are like, oh, finally, someone said it. And then you see them like liking those comments. But like, if you wanted to remain apolitical, if you didn't want this to be a page about politics, then remove this video where you're talking about how you don't want this page to be a page about politics.
Because now you've made it about politics.
Now we're talking about politics.
Mm-hmm.
Who brought that up? You. And it's just, it drives me fucking crazy. And so I don't even know if anyone who listens to this is like, well, I need to find those people. Like you said earlier, it's like, yeah, you go through followings of people who follow Donald Trump, go through people who their significant others also follow those people. Candace Owens, specifically conservative podcast accounts. Sometimes people won't follow the person, but they'll follow something show. Matt Walsh, The Daily Wire, Babylon Bee.
I don't even know who some of this is.
That's like The Onion, but for conservatives.
Oh.
And I saw someone who I knew, we didn't agree on a different thing I saw them posting something that I was like, holy shit, that's incredibly Islamophobic and xenophobic. That's fucked up. Did not know you were like that. And then I like looked that they had recently followed that. And like, then I saw them liking things that were like about making fun of Barbie in a wheelchair. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, cartoon villain. Like, okay, you're just now you're angry and you're aligning with conservative talking points, which did not seem like you before. But finding those things and this one's crazy. Oh, Real News, No Bullshit. That's another like sneaky one that people will follow. But one that is like a bit of a dog whistle to me, but then I have to like follow through is when people don't follow any political things and they only follow, oh my God, what is it? Like Good News Daily, or like it's something that's like was created to be like, we're not talking about, let's just show videos of toucans being cute. But it was created in like, I think 2020, like height of like discussion of politics and like human civil rights. So to me, I'm like, if you only follow that, and that was created as like a bright light amongst all of this like sad, dark, depressing news, and that's the only one you follow, that's giving I don't keep politics on my page because all I want is love and light. Because you'd follow other random other cute animal accounts, not just that one. So yeah, and if you didn't hear someone talk about this, that tells you all you need to know. People's friends too, like, and even if you're like, oh, this person has a family member that's like, doesn't matter. This person has what if you're married to someone, if you're dating someone, if your friends are all like that, like
you're signing off on that being okay.
And viewing influencers of being like, but they have the, and I go, if you can find one piece of evidence and go, well, maybe they should, but everything else is pointing to the opposite, and they have not told you and they have not made it abundantly clear. Like, any of you, have you questioned my political beliefs? No. I'm not doing anything crazy. This isn't like radical whatsoever, but like you should feel as confident about my views about other people's views. It's just kind of like a yes or no switch. It's just like you either you do or you don't. This like nuance will always be intentional. I never want anybody, if they think I'm conservative, I will be like, I'm not going to let you keep thinking that.
Right.
Specifically, I'm not going to let conservatives let thinking that. I'm like, oh, you've never heard me speak. Okay, what can I do now? Because maybe I get a little blue bracelet. Like, and I'm just waiting for these influencers who are like, let's just vote. And like, it's private. Like nobody needs to know who your vote's for. Just, yeah, you don't need to know. And like, I saw someone else who was like, I felt the very same way of being like, if you are so disappointed by all your favorite influencers, what that tells me, you don't have a great radar and you follow a lot of white people. Like, I think I unfollowed one person who I was already a little skeptical about like following before. And that like might have been it. Like their views will be, you will not need to dig. When you dig, you find out that the girls from the Morning Toast, their mother is quite literally a terrorist. That's what you have to dig to find.
If people are talking about who they are as a person and their ethics, then you should already know.
Yeah, and if you have any question, that's your answer. You should be able to, and like I even said this like in the height of 2020 of being like, how can I make it? I want you to do the littlest bit of work. I want someone to do 1-2 taps on my profile. I don't want someone to be like, let me scroll and like see if they're a raging bigot. I want it to be easy, easy for you. If you're digging, if you have to dig, it's for something people don't want you to know.
Yep.
The end.
All right. That's our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Make sure you participate by clicking the little tappy buttons on the story we'll upload later about this.
Mm-hmm.
Hear us discuss what the conclusion of that was on our See You Next Tuesday episode.
Yeah, it's a story, an interactive story.
It's like a flip picture book, a pop-up
Choose your own
book.
adventure.
Very Dora, except she chose for us. Swipe or no swiping.
Oh, man.
We will
circle back. Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go Network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go Network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What if we could disagree in a way that encouraged empathy, even during an election year? With a new episode of Thread the Needle, a better way to disagree. I'm your host, Donna Schill Dugan. I use my background in journalism and draw from my life experiences to explore topics that matter to fellow feminists like you. In this episode, activist and professor Loretta Ross charges us to try her calling in technique.
I'm always going to hold people accountable for the harm that they do. The question is, am I going to do it with anger or am I going to do it with love and grace? And I choose love and grace because it makes me feel better about myself when I walk through the world that way.
You can listen to Thread the Needle on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.